Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Soy, your new morning show where real talk happens every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing? How y'all doing in the cafe? Are you ready for some hot and steamy conversation this morning? What you drinking on? What you sipping on? Caramel macchiato. That's my favorite beverage right there. That's how I get my day started. Hot and steamy.
My mother and I had a fantastic relationship.
This is Steven, and I just wanted to share.
You should always be in a place where you're celebrated. Life is too short to stay somewhere and tolerate it.
If you cannot help a person, don't hurt them, especially with women.
Soy's just whole essence is to bring out the best in other people.
Something that touches other people, and that's what your show does. It doesn't. It's not just conversation as you started. It actually has a purpose.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday, and welcome to Coffee Talk with Soy, your new morning show where real talk happens every Saturday at 10 a.m. It's your girl Soy bringing you stimulating conversation to the Brew Nation. It's always a joyous occasion here in the cafe. Think on it, drink on it. Let's talk now. If soy means I am, therefore you are bold, beautiful, intelligent, amazing, and leaving your insecurities and inabilities to be tested, then rested while you have real talk with soy. Welcome to the cafe, y'all, where you can always come right on in and unapologetically be you, be you, be you. Be your authentic self. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Be your authentic self. And if I was to ask you about your authentic self, if I were to ask you about your authentic self, to describe your authentic self, what would you say? What would that look like? My Facebook listeners, my YouTube listeners, yeah, those watching live on Twitch, what would you say? How would you describe your authentic self? When you wake up in the morning, and you open your eyes, what does it look like for you, your authentic self? Are you praying? Are you in praying, thanking God for another day? Some people wake up and that's their thing. That's their ritual. That's what they do. That's their authentic self. Are you hitting the snooze button saying, just one more minute, give me one more minute, give me one more minute? Is that you? I mean, be honest. Describe your authentic self. Now, if I could be honest, my authentic self this morning, I woke up with a headache. If I could just tell you about my authentic self, I woke up with a headache this morning, y'all. And I just told myself I'm just going to get through it. I'm just going to keep on pressing through it. I don't know where this headache came from or why I have it, but I'm determined to work through it, right? So thank God for that. Thank God for determination, right? But that was my authentic self. So recognize your authentic self, or were you just happy to sleep in this morning, and because the kids kept you up, the baby kept you up, you had a nagging spouse that kept you up, nagging spouse that kept you up, snoring, or whatever it was. What does it look like for you being your authentic self? Well, I want to have a couple of announcements before we get into our show. I want to say happy birthday to those who are celebrating their birthday. This is the first month of the year, the new year, 2021. And we are expecting some great things to happen this year, right? Yeah, we are. We're working towards it. So happy birthday to all those celebrating their birthday. Prayers for all those who have lost someone or who was caring for someone due to an ailment and or COVID. My heart goes out to those people. Just reminding everyone to be safe. Wear your mask, y'all. Wear your mask. Practice social distancing, and so we can all get through it. So we can all get through it. All right, I can't start this show without saying a couple of things that just motivates me, and I'm gonna share our confirmation. our I am affirmation this morning. So y'all ready for it? Yes, 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 yes. So our I am affirmation this morning is I am complete. I am complete. I am complete. I am enough. I am loved. I am respected. Sometimes we don't feel that we are enough, but let me tell you, you are complete as you are. You're complete. Yes, yes, yes. So tell yourself that I am complete. I am enough. I am loved and I am respected. That is our I am affirmation this Saturday morning. All right, y'all. Enough the small talk. Enough small talk. I know what y'all want to hear. Y'all want to hear about this amazing woman, right? This amazing woman, aka the bombshell, right? You want to hear about this amazing woman, Tiffany Farrell, the blender bombshell, and you're gonna hear in a few minutes why she's referred to as the blender bombshell. Well, Tiffany has she lives in the city of Atlanta, and let me tell you a little bit about this woman, so you can just be able to understand why she's on the show today. Okay, Tiffany Farrell has been in the real estate industry for over 20 years. It has been her career path, right? And in her dealing with real estate, she's a real estate broker, originally from Oklahoma. She have achieved so many goals in that era, and has for a long time have been ranking in the top 10% of agents with her brokerage. She's consistently been being successful in that, even when she moved to the Atlanta area. And y'all know how tough it is to be successful in the real estate industry. You got to be on your game. And so this woman has been doing that and been successful at it. In that, we all know that when you have when you have challenges, or you are in a high stressful work environment, that you got to find a way to manage your life, right? You got to keep your health together. You got to keep your diet together. Otherwise, it will begin to take its toll on you. Well, in doing that, Tiffany had, after just being busy in that lifestyle and it's been so demanding, she decided to focus more on her health, and she's going to tell you why. And I want you to hear what that journey has been like for her. So, without further delay, I want to introduce and welcome to the cafe Tiffany Farrell. Good morning, bombshell. How you doing?
Amazing. Good morning. I love the intro. You're awesome. And I am amazing and fabulous, just like you. Let's stick with the affirmations.
That you are. That you are. Okay, let me make sure we got enough sound for you, Tiffany. All right, Tiffany. So I'm excited that you are here in the cafe with me, and I really appreciate you being transparent and being vulnerable to share your story. You know, we find sometimes that people feel that. Okay, sorry about that. We find sometimes that people feel that it's difficult for them to be transparent because due to social media and what life is supposed to look like, we are influenced, and sometimes we're afraid to show our flaws.
Oh, yeah. You said a mouthful right there. That is the truth.
So thank you for being transparent this morning. So Tiffany, I began to tell the audience about your real estate career. So share what that background has been like for you, and the demands of being successful in that business.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that could be a conversation all on its own. But basically, in a nutshell, anyone who owns their own business knows the challenges, the ups and downs. You know, you
have money, you don't have money, you've got side gigs, you don't have to have side gigs, you think everything's on track, and then it all blows up, and, the list goes on and on. But I am definitely a personality type that prefers to work for myself. So if that means I have to, get a couple side hustles going, that's what I'll do. I've driven for Uber, worked part-time jobs, whatever. So there's definitely been seasons that have been more challenging than other seasons, but I've weathered everything because it's important for me to work for myself and, provide amazing service to my clients. But yeah, it definitely has its challenges without a doubt. You have to keep your mind right. You have to keep your physical body right. Otherwise, it affects every other area, trying to find clients to work with and be successful at getting them to the closing table. And so everything is just kind of intertwined. Your health and your business all goes hand in hand. So if one slips, it kind of affects the other areas.
Now, with your it's a good point you mentioned. Your health becomes a factor. Did something happen that caused you to focus more on your health and change your diet and that kind of thing? Did you experience some medical situation that? Because sometimes we take it for granted. We don't listen to our body, and then something happens. It's like, oh wow, let me make some adjustments. So did that?
Mm-hmm.
What was it for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you touch on listening to your body is so critical. But it wasn't necessarily a medical issue, but in a sense, it, definitely was an illness. It was more of my mind. So I was somebody that always had a a horrible relationship with food. I'm just going to call it what it is. A spade. When I was, in my preteens, I was always like focused on my weight and my size. I was tall, but I was not big. The kids at school were mean. They would, call me fat and call me names, this, that, and the other. And I had a growth spurt early, and I was a taller kid, And so that kind of like carried through into my teen years. And I'm 46, so this is in the 80s, and thin was in, so I was just like obsessed with being thin, and that's not how I'm built. Like, that's not how my body naturally wants to be. So, it started this like vicious cycle of yo-yo dieting, obsessing over food. So my relationship with food was super unhealthy. I didn't realize the extent of it until I got much, much older. And so fast forward, into my 20s, I was married, and it was a very toxic, very abusive, very dysfunctional marriage. And so at that stage of my life, I really turned to food and alcohol for comfort. It was, my friend, and I talk about this in my story in my ebook, but it was my friend, my lover, my companion, my confidant. It was everything, because I was just living a life that was not authentic to me. To talk about, being your authentic self, that is such a huge factor to your health. People don't even realize it. But I was living a lie. I was married to a man I absolutely despised, like hated. I hated the town I lived in. I hated my career. There was not hardly anything about my life that I actually liked. And so food and alcohol was everything. I mean, it was just everything. I say Mexican food was my drug of choice, and margaritas, but I also hated how I looked and felt, but I didn't know what to do. I felt trapped and smothered, and I didn't know, how to get out of it. So I eventually got a divorce, moved to Atlanta to kind of fast forward again another like 10 or 15 years. And I moved to Atlanta, and that was like the first step of, trying to find myself. That's kind of cliche, but it's really true. It's just like I had to figure out what I liked and loved, and I didn't know, because I was basically a shell of a woman coming out of that 14-year, situation. And so when I moved to Atlanta, I was definitely like on a better path in terms of being around people who inspired me, being around beautiful people, a more diverse city, there was a lot more incentive to, again, focus on your health and wellness. But I still wasn't there. So I had a lot of healing to do internally, a lot of emotional damage that had to be addressed because I found that I was still yo-yo dieting.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was always like, I'll start on Monday. I'll, oh, I'm going to do low carb. Now it's keto and, it's this diet or Weight Watchers, whatever. It was always some fixation on food. And so fast forward a few more years of being in Atlanta, I'm finally stabilized on my feet. My business is, going well in real estate. But I didn't like how I looked and felt. I knew that I was walking around in a shell that still wasn't authentically who I am. And I'm somebody who, I would look at women that were curvy and healthy and sexy, and they had these strong toned bodies and glowing skin and shiny hair. And I was just like, that's who I am inside. Like I could physically see it, but I just didn't know how to get there. And so fast forward a few more years, my spirit started telling me to stop eating meat and to stop drinking. And I ignored it and ignored it and ignored it. And then all of a sudden one day I woke up and I just stopped eating meat and I started to feel better. And, that went on for about a year and a half, 2 years, but I was still drinking. I was still not eating the best, and I was in the gym, but you can't, outwork a unhealthy diet. And I finally just snapped one day. So to circle back to your question, what triggered it was basically like I just got pissed. I don't even know any other way to say it other than I just was disgusted.
You just had enough. You just had enough.
Mm-hmm.
You just had enough.
You got to get there though. Sometimes you just got to realize like what, I don't know if I can cuss, but like what the freak am I doing with myself? Like you're ignoring that inner voice that's telling you chill out on the alcohol, chill out on the processed food, get rid of the dead animals that you're putting into your body. Like literally those were the thoughts and going through my mind. Now I was a meat eater, not a huge meat eater, but I definitely ate hamburgers and, I loved a ribeye and, that kind of stuff. But the thoughts that were going through my head, it was literally like, you have to stop putting this shit in your body.
Right.
You have to stop. Right. You have to stop. And then it became this like almost kind of like push pull with my inner spirit. And so it took about 3 years. So I kind of slowly transitioned off of meat, started feeling a little bit better, and then, went through it, but still had this nagging, thing like, you got to get a grip and stop drinking, stop partying, get some discipline into your life. And so one day I just woke up and I was just disgusted. I was like, I hate how I look. I hate how my body looks. I shouldn't feel that way at this age, and I want to age gracefully. I want to maintain my looks and my health. I don't want to be on a bunch of medicine, all this stuff, because at this point I was already 40. I was like, it kind of started in my late 30s, but as I really started to rein it all in my early 40s, and I'm 46 now. But when I got angry, that's when I decided, I was like, okay, I can't, people, side note, people will sabotage you when you go to change your life. They say this crap like, well, everything in moderation. Like I stopped drinking. And so everyone around me is a heavy drinker. And so they were like, oh, well, you can have a little bit. Like you can have, it's all in moderation. Well, it's not in moderation when you need to lose 50 or 60 pounds. That's just the reality of it. Right. And I finally had to come to terms with that. Like if you want to make a change in your life, you got to go balls to the wall, period. End of the story. To make, get over that hump and create these new habits and systems. So it wasn't an actual illness, but it was definitely a mental unwellness, I would say. And yeah, so
The
that's how I
build
got
up.
to that point
The
of
build up.
like
Yeah.
making a change.
Yeah. The build up.
Yeah.
The build
It
up.
was a lot though. It was a lot.
The build up. So as you know, Tiffany then changed her life. She changed her eating. She began eating veggies, more plant-based foods. Began marketing and advertising these meals that she was eating, which is how she became known as the blender bombshell. She began blending and juicing, and then came COVID. So we're gonna take a quick break. To pay the bills and to share this commercial, and then we'll be right back. And Tiffany can share with you how she contracted it and what she did about it. All right, we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Have you heard sponsorships are requested? Coffee Talk with Soy is looking for dynamic entrepreneurs like yourself. If you're motivated, energetic with a message or product, consider advertising with us. It's a win-win. For more information on those advertising and sponsorship packages, visit the website Coffee Talk with Soy or call me at 515-I-GOT-SOY. And again, that's 515-I-GOT-SOY.
All right, so this bombshell has kind of got it all together. She's figured it out. She's eating. She's working out. She's in the gym. She's at the plight of doing what she do, and then came COVID. So let's go back. It's almost been a year now, right? So let's go back to around March.
It's weird.
Yeah, let's go back to early 2020 and share what life was like for you when the pandemic started. How did it affect you?
Yeah, so it's funny because 2020 was supposed to be my best year. It was the year I was going to meet my king, my husband. I had my best body. My bank account was full. Like everything was on track. My business was popping. This was January. And I was high on life. High on life. And it was funny because I was planning a trip to Thailand and a friend said, oh, there's this, new virus coming, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, I don't worry about those things. There's always something out there. That's what I said. I remember it vividly. And she said, okay, just be aware. And then dun, 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 COVID happened. And so I was in denial. I didn't realize I was in denial, but I was definitely in denial. So when the lockdown happened, I kind of started quarantining a little bit before the official lockdown. But when the lockdown happened, in my mind, I thought, oh, this will be like an extended vacation. And at that point, I think I had like 10 houses under contract in less than 2 months. And I was feeling good. So I was like, oh, this will just be a nice little break. I'm going to use this time to be productive. I even talked about it, openly on social media. Like I felt really good. I was cleaning closets and, being super positive. And then when I realized, oh, it's not going away, I got depressed like instantly because I'm somebody who loves to be out and about and enjoying life, and I have passions for so many things, and my girlfriends and brunch and art and dancing and you name it. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, it's all gone and I don't know when it's coming back. And so I instantly downward spiraled. And when I mean downward spiral, I was out of control. Like I was alone. Okay, for starters, I'm single and I live alone. And people, I love my life and being single is great. But people don't understand how confident you have to be with spending time with yourself to have that much alone time. And you have no distractions. So you're in the home alone 24 hours a day with no hugs, no physical contact, no nothing. That starts to catch up to you. You don't have the distractions of daily life, your business, whatever. And so I got depressed and I started eating and I started drinking a lot, like drinking a ton. And I was having stuff delivered to my house and I was just watching Netflix and getting and looking at the news and getting terrified. I was terrified to leave the house. And I stayed that way for months upon months. And finally, when things started opening back up, I was getting fat. I hated like how I felt. I just all of it was just spiraling out of control. And when everything opened back up, I was still really scared to like get back to life because the news had me so terrified. And we could do a whole conversation about, what you let into your thoughts. But when I woke up one day again and got pissed, kind of like I did in 2018, when I went cold turkey on everything, that it was kind of the same thing. I was just like, what are you doing? Like I looked in the mirror and I saw my reflection and I was like, holy shit, this is not who you are. This is who you were when you were married and when you were living a life that
you hated.
Was not. Yeah, it was awful. So I basically bitch slapped myself. I took my white glove off and slapped myself in the face and made an intentional decision to, go back to the gym. I started manifesting and scripting out my reality. I turned off the news. That was the first thing really that I did was I shut everybody out. And whether you agree with it or not, I had to pretend that COVID didn't exist. That's what I had to do to save myself and my sanity. And that is not to minimize anything that people have, struggled with COVID. But anyway, I started going back out. And then lo and behold, I felt like my life was getting back together. I was selling lots of houses again. My body and my health was back on track. And then I got COVID. So
when did you know? When did you know? What were your symptoms, and when did you? What led you to checking things out? How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was quick. It was like 0 to 1,000. I came home from the gym, and all of a sudden, it felt like an elephant was on my chest, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this doesn't feel right." And the next day, I was pretty sick. I had a fever. I had chills. I was coughing, and my chest just felt very tight and heavy. And so I was like, I better go get checked for COVID. And I definitely tested positive for COVID. But the interesting thing is through all of this, I had still maintained my supplement routine. So even though I was eating really bad and drinking, and I definitely had lowered my immune system, by the time I was, coming out of all that, I was really clean and my body was rebuilding quickly. So I do have a strong immune system, like regardless. And I believe that that's why my symptoms were more mild than maybe what other people have experienced. And I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm just somebody who's in tune with my body. And so as soon as I started feeling like that, I just started really loading up on greens and I started doubling up on the supplements that I take every single day, all the time, regardless of what's going on. And that's vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D with K in it. Vitamin D is, and I guess studies now are starting to come out showing the impact that vitamin D has on COVID-19. So as soon as I had those symptoms, I started doubling up on everything. And so it really only took about 2 days for me to go on the upswing. So the biggest thing that I experienced was heavy fatigue. And I did quarantine. They only require now you quarantine for 10 days, but I quarantined for almost 2 weeks. And then when I finally went back to the gym, that was the one thing that I really did notice. So even though my symptoms were mild and only lasted a few days outside of the fatigue, once I went back to the gym, I could tell that there was damage to my lungs. And it was kind of scary. Yeah, it was kind of scary. My heart rate, like I felt short of breath, and my heart rate was super high with very minimal effort. And I'm somebody who has a lot of stamina. And so that was scary to me. And it made me realize, like, oh my God, like imagine if I was super unhealthy, And so that's why more than ever, people talk about, your immune system, but it's not a joke. Like you can really change so many things about your health and overall well-being by having a very strong immune system and focusing on it intentionally. And anyway, so I came out and now I feel great and everything is good. And so, again, I don't want to minimize the people that have lost their lives or whatever, struggles, financial problems, everything that COVID-19 has impacted. I do not want to come across like I'm minimizing it because my situation was mild, but your health is everything. You can't chase the bag. You can't chase your dreams. You can't do anything without your health.
Tiffany, what is your what was your biggest takeaway from that experience?
From getting or from quarantine or from actually getting COVID-19? Because I have two different answers.
Okay, well, let's see if we have time. Give them to me.
Quarantine, the biggest thing is I thought I was healed from all of the addictions that I've struggled with my entire life, and I realized I wasn't. And so that was very eye-opening to me, that when I was faced with like a real challenge, I immediately reverted back. So that was very eye-opening, and I realized I still had some internal work to do that will probably never stop. Some of these things are on a cellular level, the addictions that people face, and you have to focus on it every single day. You can do better and you can be better, but it's every day. So that was my biggest takeaway from quarantine is I thought I was really healed, and I actually wasn't. And so you have to be intentional to live a healthy, happy life. And then the biggest takeaway with COVID-19 is hands down, if you don't do anything for yourself, the supplement, take your supplements every day and drink a green drink and get in your veggies and fruit. It's the fastest, easiest way to do it. Even if everything else you eat isn't the best and you don't exercise regularly, at a minimum, just do those things and try to protect your immune system as much as you can, because it's vital to a long, healthy life.
What do you want to share with people? What do you want them to get from this interview that you've done with me this morning?
Basically that, I just hope that somebody hears a little bit of my story and is inspired, because you touched on it earlier. We just live in a society that is focused on perfection, and it can be debilitating to your emotional state. Especially if you're somebody who isn't living an authentic life, you're caught up in that hamster wheel of comparisons and, I should be doing this, or, I should be here now. But just understand that no matter how things look on the outside, every single person, I don't care who they are, I do not care how flat their stomach is, I don't care how fat their ass is, I don't care about the Rolls Royce that their man is driving or all the things he's showering them with. Trust and believe there is an internal dialogue going in their mind from whatever they faced growing up, childhood issues, whatever, that is affecting them and propelling whatever actions they're doing in their life. So just know that everybody has struggles and challenges, but you can make an intentional decision to overcome them.
Yes, we can, and I think one of the main things that we struggle with is identifying it, what we're struggling with, and just being authentic about it. The first thing to healing is to recognize where the issue is, and then once you are clear about that, then you can go on the path to rectifying it. So but it's hard for us to be vulnerable. People, we all want to appear strong and strong Black women and strong men, and that's important. We on social media posting pictures and images and showing this and showing that, and then it's not our reality. It's really not our reality. While social media is fun and it's a good way to engage, it is exactly what it is. It's a social platform.
Exactly. I want to say one more thing real quick, because you just brought it to my attention when you said being vulnerable and transparent about strong women, strong men. Being vulnerable and being transparent is hands down the strongest thing you can do, because you're going to be able to connect with people on a deeper level, and it takes a lot of courage to open up like that. So vulnerability is everything.
Yeah,
that's the first step.
I'm going to do a show on that later this year, Tiffany. So I'll keep you in mind and bring you back on. But before we exit, I love your blending tips and your blending ideas. And before we go, you want to share with people where they can get information about your blending recipes and those juices that you rely upon for your internal healing and strength.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Blender Bombshell, and my website is www.theblenderbombshell.com. And then there's also a link in my IG profile if you want to download your ebook today. It's 2 melons and a peach. And there's lots of recipes in there that will inspire you, and also my full story about my relationship with food and my health and wellness journey is in there as well.
All right. Thank you. Tiff, I have enjoyed you. Just hang out in the cafe with me a little longer.
I know, me too. You're awesome. I appreciate it so much.
You're quite welcome. Just don't be a stranger. Just come back and hang out with me from time to time, and listen and share the show. You all share the show. Share this information with others so they can be empowered and get some information as well. I also want to remind everyone to visit the website, CoffeeTalkwithSoy.com, CoffeeTalkwithSoy.com. Share with me how you enjoyed the show, what your experiences have been. I want to hear from you. So there is a comment section where you can go on and comment. There's another thing that we're doing. We're preparing for a soft launch. We are partnering with small business entrepreneurs. So if you are trying to build your business and having struggles, contact me so that you can join this network. We want you to list your business under the business directory. Now, I know some of you have been contacting me to add your business to the business directory. What I'm doing now is I am revamping this directory so that it appears more like a Rolodex and you can enter your own information in, as opposed to sending it to us and we're doing it on the back end. So we are changing the plugins to allow you to enter it. And once you do that, it posts there. For a small fee, you can have a link associated with your business directory and we can direct people to your site as well. So visit the business directory, list your business there, contact me if you need additional information or resources in terms of what you're struggling with. We want to assist you with finances. We want to assist you with getting loans. We want to assist you with getting your EIN numbers, IRS contacts or issues with IRS. I've been partnering with a host of people and we're creating a network so that we can thrive together for 2021. So this plight is ours, y'all. So join me and so that you can be successful and you can have some trustworthy people around you to help build your business. Okay, so visit me at CoffeeTalkwithSoy.com. It's been amazing. It's been amazing being in here with you all this Saturday morning. And listen, y'all, don't forget these affirmations. You know, life brings about struggles, right? As Tiffany mentioned, it doesn't matter where you live, how much money you make, what your profession is, what your race is. Life brings about challenges, and it's all about getting through it, tapping into your resources to getting on the other side. So remind yourself, tell yourself, that you're great. You're great. I believe that you're great. You're great. Tell them you're great and tell them Soy said so. So good morning to all y'all who hanging out here with me on Facebook. We're going to continue the thread talking about our authentic self. And if you know anyone who's battling with COVID, have them to reach out to me. I got some information for those people. So have them reach out to me on either the website or Facebook or Instagram under Coffee Talk with Soy, your new morning show. Y'all have a great week. And I'll see you next Saturday.
I just love this show, Coffee Talk with Soy. That is your new morning show where real talk happens every Saturday at 10 a.m. I'd like to thank the listeners and the guests for joining me in the cafe today. What a wonderful time we had. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Don't forget to download the app Coffee Talk with Soy from your app store. It's available on iTunes and Google Play. Stay connected, folks, by visiting the website CoffeeTalkwithSoy.com, as well as looking for us under your social media sites. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the name Coffee Talk with Soy. Remember, the size of the problem is never the issue. Remember, it's the size of you. Be great because you are awesome. Tell them Soy said so. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye.